This is fun, right? Right? It's indisputable. Ripping turns, smashing down descents, or riding socially with no destination in mind, just the road ahead of you. These things are fun. You know what isn't fun? This. Alright, all you Zwifters and people who ride the indoor trainer who watch my videos, no hate from me, but man, I really do not like indoor cycling. I owned one for a year or two. When I'd use it, I'd overwhelm my senses so I couldn't feel like I was riding inside. I'd have the TV on, I'd have headphones with music, I'd have Zwift running, anything to feel like I was outside. But some of my best videos have come out of some of my more questionable decisions. How about the 200km ride around Sydney using bike paths only? How about going to Rafa's once a week drop ride? Or riding 300km in a day? Well, unfortunately for me, this bad idea doesn't have a happy conclusion, because I thought it's about time that I do a FTP test on an indoor trainer. Happy New Year.
I haven't done an FTP test for years. And on the same note, I don't think I take cycling that super seriously for performance anymore. It's definitely more of like a social fun thing for me to do. But I thought Peaks is coming up. I need to get a benchmark of where my fitness is at. And the only good way to do an FTP test these days is to do it on an indoor trainer. And the genius that I am, I sold mine a while back. So here I am. I'm going to use one on my friend's balcony, and he doesn't have a fan, and we're in the middle of Australian summer. So this could be the worst FTP test you've ever seen. Alright, I better get changed. I need to chuck my bike on the trainer, and then we'll get going. Alright, I guess I'm committed now. Alright, let's go.
FTP stands for Functional Threshold Power. And what does that mean? Well, in layman's terms, it just means the best power you can put out for 1 hour. But of course, a lot of time it's not practical to ride for 1 hour, so what they usually do is they produce a test, which gives you an indicative idea of what your 1 hour power would be. The one I'm doing today is a 20-minute test. You just do your best power for 20 minutes, and then you apply 95% to that, and that should be your theoretical 1 hour power. Now, of course, you can go and find a local climb that'll take you about 20 minutes. That's a great way to do an FTP test. Or you can go to Centennial Park and do loops around and around. But I thought the best way to do it would be on an indoor trainer, just so I wouldn't have to worry about driving out to a location or potentially getting into a crash at Centennial Park. I was secretly hoping that my FTP had increased, not because I've done any training, but just because I've been doing a lot of riding recently. And I will admit, the first 4 minutes of this test felt awesome. But I did say it's a 20-minute test, and it didn't take me very long after 4 minutes to figure out this was going to be a very, very long 16 minutes remaining. With the heat, humidity, and lack of fanning, I instantly overheated, and you can see sweat just pouring out of every single pore in my body.
Is that real sweat? It's real sweat. I'm a high-performance athlete. Athletes sweat. Sweat, baby.
So instead, I tried to focus on my cadence, making sure I was spinning quickly. I kept close tabs on my heart rate to make sure I wasn't exceeding anything that was not manageable. And I just kept looking at my power and just tried to keep the number as steady as possible. Oh, you're still watching? Okay, let's skip ahead to the more interesting parts.
Yeah. This is for you?
So, how did I go? Well, according to the Garmin, my FTP is 228 watts, and weighing myself recently, I fluctuate between 62 to 64 kilos, so we'll call it 63. And what does that come out as in watts per kilo? That comes out as 3.6 watts per kilo. Now I can't say I'm happy with that result, but with testing like this, you always get what you deserve. And if I'm honest with myself, with the style of riding I've been doing and the lack of dedicated training, just definitely been going out for more cafe rides and social rides, this is definitely the FTP I deserve. Probably the first reaction is to try and make excuses, like I did an outdoor test with no cooling. I could have probably done a better performance if it was like, if I had a fan, or, you know, making excuses about lifestyle or diet choices. But at the end of the day, you're never going to be able to race in or perform in optimal conditions. And sometimes you just need to accept the result that you get. So I'm okay with it. Where do we go from here? So I know I've been talking about Three Peaks a lot, and for those of you who are not in Australia or even in the eastern states of Australia, you probably don't know what it is. Three Peaks is probably the hardest cycling event in Australia. Some people might want to correct me, but it is 240 kilometers long, has about 4,500 meters elevation. And most people aim to do like a sub 10 hour time, which is quite hard to do. Where does my fitness fit into this? Luckily, FTP, while an indicator of your performance, isn't the be all and end all. And if you're riding for 10 hours, your functional threshold power may not even come into that. You'll probably be in zone 2 and maybe a little bit in tempo for the whole thing. So I'm just going to focus on doing bulk volume. I need to do a lot of training and time in the saddle before the event. And I'm not going to really focus on doing any threshold efforts, maybe the occasional Sydney Olympic Park. Alrighty, well, I think next time I do an FTP test, I'll do it under different conditions. Maybe I'll do one in the future after the peaks to see where my fitness reached to. And maybe you're like me, where once upon a time when you first started riding, you cared a lot about performance, but now you pretty much only care about the social aspect of cycling and just going around having fun. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video, learned a little bit about my fitness background and where I'm aiming for, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.
For the video.
Okay. What's in here?
Protein. 30 grams of protein. And it tastes fucking good.
Does taste good. I haven't had protein for forever.
Yeah, this one tastes really good.
Tastes like a milkshake.
It's like a milkshake.